Britain is at war with parking. For the people on the front line, it's a daily battle. There's the parking enforcers.
People just go, oh, I hate you for doing this. And it's like, actually, sir, you don't hate me. You only hate the fact that you got caught out.
The desperate housewives of Huddersfield.
Excuse me, can I just mention you're causing obstruction parking there? That's what we have to deal with every time there's a town match on.
The private parking whistleblower.
What they're doing is criminal. Private parking is a money-making racket.
And the parking Samaritan.
I love Westwood Ho. I've lived here all my life. It was quite nice just to give something back to people, really.
We will meet them all as they bravely fight the plague of this nation, the dreaded P word, parking. Parking on our island is a nightmare at the best of times. Throw a major sporting event into the equation, and it's mayhem. Put that major sporting event in a small town with inadequate parking, well, you do the math. Welcome to Huddersfield, home of the Terriers. The newly promoted Premier League club are today hosts to the most famous team in the world, Manchester United. And they're bringing with them a cavalcade of cars.
They come here and they park irresponsibly. They just don't care at all where they park.
When thousands of cars descend on one tiny postcode, there's no council in the land that can control the parking chaos.
They just dump them and go.
Sometimes if you want something done, you have to do it yourself.
Excuse me, can I just mention you're causing obstruction parking there? Buses can't get through and cars can't get through.
Meet Nikki Hansen, self-appointed parking marshal.
It's an absolute nightmare.
Nikki lives within spitting distance of the ground and she's parking mad about her pitch invasion.
You're opposite a junction. People aren't to go wrong side of the road to come out of the junction. See, this is it. People just don't care. They wouldn't want it outside their own house.
And then there's Nicola Earnshaw. You can hear the roar of the crowd from her kitchen window.
There's nowhere to park on this estate. It's just swamped.
Promotion to the Premier League has made parking more expensive, so fans eager to watch the Terriers are dumping their cars in the streets where it's free. But these local women are biting back.
Have you left enough room for two-way traffic? Because buses come down here and...
I think so, yeah. We're about 2 foot into the road.
You need to be right in if you look how everybody else parks.
Because if you are right in, then you do get the police coming down saying that buggies can't get past.
I've seen smashes, I've seen people seriously injured here. That's all I'm telling you. It's up to you where you park.
This guy in this blue car here, he knows he's not supposed to park here, yet he chooses to come back here week in, week out. Nah, he told me to go away.
They'll just park anywhere that they can for free because they do not want to pay.
They're on the warpath. They've taken to the streets to police the problem themselves.
They've parked on the junction here. There's parking all the way around the bend down there.
These two have a zero-tolerance policy to illegal parking, no matter who.
It's a residents' car park.
Well, we've parked here for years.
I know. The thing is, trouble is, it's just like there's just been more and more of you parking here all the time.
Yeah.
That it's escalated now, and we've just got fed up of it now.
I understand. There are not very many spaces that are free, you know. You could go round and round and still not find anything. So this disabled badge is no use then?
No, not for an estate, no, lover, because it's not a council car park. There's more turning up down there.
The people of Huddersfield were cock-a-hoop when their team were promoted to the Premier League. Some of them are not so happy now.
I really want town to do well, but yet again, I don't. There's something in the back of my head saying, please go down. Now, people will lynch me for saying that. I've got family and friends who are town fans. If they went down, it wouldn't be half as bad.
Until that happens, the girls are going to carry on, fighting the fight with inconsiderate parking. But they won't get any thanks for it.
If you lot were to come through down there...
It's 2 hours every fortnight.
No, it's not. It's 6 hours. 6 hours. I've got one, thanks. It's the abuse I don't like, when you get abuse off the fans.
Get away.
You see, that's another town fan. That's a town fan's attitude. And that's what we have to deal with every time there's a town match on. And you wonder why we get angry. I want to move. I really do want to move.
It seems when you tell people where or where not to park, you're public enemy number one. As the Wardens of Weston-super-Mare know only too well.
Lovely gentleman calling me tosser over there. Don't know why I'm a tosser. I just think I'm just doing my job.
Since the 1960s, when parking enforcement was first introduced, traffic wardens have been the subject of disdain and derision from disgruntled motorists up and down the land. But 57 years after the first parking ticket was issued, the traffic warden, employed by the police, has been phased out in favour of the more grandly named Civil Enforcement Officer. Civil Enforcement Officers, or CEOs as they are more commonly known, are on the payroll of the local councils. Today, an army of them patrol our streets, and they're still as unpopular as they ever were.
I hate traffic wardens.
I've never met a nice parking attendant. I'm sure there are some, but I've never met one.
I don't like them personally. They give us a ticket every day.
Weston-super-Mare was one of the few remaining places in the country not to have civil enforcement officers.
We're not stalking vehicles, we're just doing our job.
That was until a year ago, when everything changed. 11 CEOs took to the streets of this North Somerset town. CEOs such as Dan.
These both your vehicles, guys? You moving now, are you? That's brilliant.
Scott.
Are you kidding me? I was here 2 minutes.
Unfortunately, madam, it is an instant notice on this restriction.
And Martin.
Have a good day.
And you. See you later. Bye-bye now.
The new regime issued 398 tickets in the first 4 days, and they've issued many more since. Some locals are happy about their introduction.
There was a problem until they actually gave the civil enforcement officers the power to ticket people. I must say that in the last year or so, the parking has improved in Weston.
Others are not so thrilled.
90% of this town is really pissed off with the arrangements that have just been forced on the town. You're talking about people that have been parking here for a very long time. Now, all of a sudden, they can't park here. It's frustrating. You don't get nowhere.
This is one of the leaflets that we've seen go up since we started doing the civil parking enforcement. People are sort of not happy with the parking in the town centre.
Frustrations are boiling over and the CEOs face a daily barrage of abuse. These guys are constantly under attack.
Lovely gentleman calling me tosser over there. Don't know why I'm a tosser. I just think I'm just doing my job. Every single name under the sun, if not more. People call me the rat. If people want to, call me names, if they want to yell stuff at me, that's absolutely fine. Go ahead.
But Dan, known in this town as the Terminator, won't let a little abuse distract him from his mission.
I mean, this little section up here, there were a couple of cars that were breaking the rules. You park illegally anyway, you will be issued a fine.
Hello? That's why.
You park along the yellow lines.
This is a disabled car, all right?
Where's your disabled badge, sir?
I haven't got it on me because it's in the other car. There's 2 DNA cars.
Okay, well, you do need to have a blue badge.
I need to go and get it, all right?
Under no circumstance, are we obligated to stand in front of you while you yell at us verbal abusiveness and we're just going to take it. Everyone thinks that we're very mean, that we're very happy and smug when we give it a ticket. Everyone says, oh, you got like a glee smile. And you're like, I don't have a glee smile. They would probably love to see me in hell or something like that, probably chained up. Don't hate the person, hate the job.
In one of the town's main car parks, CEO Martin is facing similar hostility.
I'm used to it. You get worse than that in the prison service, so...
Watch off a duck's back.
Get from the job! You
It's nothing he hasn't heard before.
Lost count after about 17, 18. It does get a bit boring after a while.
I'm just used to it now.
Scott is in another part of town. But it's the same sorry story.
So the gentleman walking along with his kids and the pushchair thought it'd be appropriate to walk along and call me a wanker. That's the standard thing over there. Gentleman sticking his finger up. That happens all the time, actually. People beeping at us, swearing at us.
We get all sorts said to us all the time.
FM toilet.
We get a lot of verbal abuse on street. Just a good thing that we have had the appropriate training. We can de-escalate these situations very quickly. People just go, oh, I hate you for doing this. And it's like, actually, sir, you don't hate me. You only hate the fact that you got caught out.
With an average salary of just £25,000 a year, CEOs are working hard to keep our roads clear and us safe.
Bum this guy, man. Look at that. Look, what a dick. Oi.
And they're not getting a lot of thanks for their efforts. We're throwing it back in their face.
Don't put him up, babe.
Oh no, this there.
Don't go, right.
It's I can film in public.
You can't film me.
I can film you. I can film you. Exactly.
Bitter skirmishes are raging between motorists and councils all over the country. This CEO got the full force of a motorist's wrath in a car park in Wolverhampton.
Do you really love your job? Your job's worth. Look at her, she thinks she's so bad. Look at her. Walking up. Walking up. Look at you. YouTube, that's where you will be. Your face all over YouTube.
The source of all this anger and abuse is Tom Moore.
That particular day I received a car parking ticket. A car parking ticket which I shouldn't have had.
Tom, who describes himself as a calm and relaxed man, spiralled into a parking rage when he received a ticket he felt was unjust.
Looking back, I probably could have handled it a bit different. I'm not that person, you know. I definitely don't kind of walk after people and swear at them and call them a job's worth and things like that. I probably shouldn't have gone about it the way that I did.
At the time, Tom was unemployed.
I was very stressed.
Not me, you still got a ticket.
I don't care. Is that what you're using, your authority?
Really, you do care.
This is a bag.
No, it's not.
How is that not a bag? There's lines on the floor. There's lines.
Right at the back wall over there, you can see them. They haven't taken away the lines. How is anybody supposed to know that they aren't bays?
So that's not a bag. Well, you want to clear the lines then, don't you?
You want to stop swearing.
I did fly off the handle a little bit. It's not usually like me. I was literally on my last pennies.
Get off! You have no right!
Tom uploaded the video and it went viral with over 600,000 views.
There's a few things in the feed that, you know, I'm a bully and things like that, saying that I probably shouldn't have gone about it the way that I did. Any other day, fine. Traffic warden's a job and it needs to be done.
Attacks on civil enforcement officers have rocketed in recent years. But maybe we are firing our fury in the wrong direction. Our outrage is not only with CEOs, it's also with private parking companies. Private parking has turned into an industry worth hundreds of millions of pounds. And a healthy proportion of that income is generated through parking fines. 19,000 of us get caught out with a private parking charge notice every single day. Jeremy and Kay claim they lost everything, all because of a private parking fine.
I've been on medication for the last 6 months, maybe more, and it's all down to stress.
It's destroyed our lives, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's all because of this parking company.
Yeah.
They can go and rot in hell as far as I'm concerned. I will never pay them.
It all started on a sunny day in Liverpool, when Jeremy bought a ticket in a private car park in the city centre.
I remember commenting, oh, I've never seen one of these before, you have to put your registration number in. So I did that and I paid for the parking and off we went and we had a lovely afternoon in Liverpool. About 8 months later, I just happened to check my credit score and I thought, my goodness, what's going on here? It had plummeted.
What Jeremy hadn't realised was that he had received a fine months ago, sent to his previous address, along with a court summons, which he had missed.
It turned out on investigation that it was for just under £200. Found that it was from a parking company. They wouldn't give me any details.
To this day, he doesn't know what he did wrong, but it's left his credit history in tatters.
We couldn't rent through a single letting agent in the country because of the adverse credit history. Council couldn't find us anywhere. We were absolutely desperate to find somewhere to live.
This was their only option: sheltered housing. With Jeremy in his mid-50s and Kay in her early 60s, they're struggling to fit in.
The youngest people here are in their late 70s, early 80s.
There's hand bars, disabled bars all over the place.
Emergency pull cords.
Worst of all, a no-pet policy means they've had to give up their beloved dog Baxter.
He's smiling.
Beautiful. Every day I look around for him, oh, he's not here. That really has broken my heart, that.
Yeah.
All because they let a single parking ticket spiral out of control.
We can't function normally because of it. We're very depressed, to be honest. Life is not good.
It's a cautionary tale. Contrary to what you might read on the internet, private parking fines should not be ignored. But there is a silver lining. Jeremy and Kay have finally found a place of their own that didn't require credit references. But the fine still hangs over them. Where some of us lose, others win. One private parking company picked on the wrong guy. Nick Bowen is a top London barrister with over 30 years' experience in legal practice.
Late one night, about 11:30, I was driving back to London from Wales on the M4, just willing for Membury service station to appear because I just was absolutely exhausted. I drove in up the slip road, I parked up in the car park. It was dark, I saw no signs, I just fell asleep. I meant to sleep for 10 minutes, I slept for 2 hours, 20 minutes. If I hadn't stopped, God knows what would have happened. I would have either had to have pulled over and stopped in the hard shoulder or probably had a crash.
What Nick hadn't realised is that the free parking at Membury services stops after 2 hours. Cameras had clocked his car and a penalty charge notice had been issued to his house in Wales, where his car was registered. As he was living in London, he didn't find out about this until months later.
I suddenly became aware that I was being pursued for £150. I wrote to them. I explained that I thought it was rather unfair to be charged to sensibly follow government advice and take a break when you're tired. And of course they wrote back telling me that I didn't have a leg to stand on, I had to pay, that if I didn't I'd have a county court judgment against me. There was all this absurd, threatening, sort of quasi-judicial language, plainly designed to scare the ordinary individual. They're just issuing parking tickets like confetti. And I thought, no, I am not going to be bullied by these people. If, for heaven's sake, I'm a professional lawyer, if I don't do it, who is going to do it?
Nick appealed the parking fine but was unsuccessful. He still didn't pay and a few months later was summoned to court.
I was actually quite pleased. I thought, well, gosh, I can now fight them. I defended it. I did a proper, thorough legal job in setting out the defence, set out all the law.
Nick won his case because the private company had mysteriously failed to pay a trial fee.
I was so delighted that we won the case, albeit by default, and also got £1,550 in costs against the parking company, that it was picked up by the newspapers, and it had the most extraordinary reaction, and it got nearly 2,000 comments. I appear at the moment now to be somebody who is articulating on behalf of the silent masses that there is something very wrong with the system.
Private parking is big business. In the last 10 years, there's been a 1,200% rise in the number of parking charges issued by private parking companies. And what we may not realise is they're everywhere. The supermarket, the airport, they'll even get us at our own homes. Which is exactly what happened to Dean. He had to pay out close to £1,000 for parking outside his own flat.
So this is my bay.
This is the bay I bought with my flat, and this is the bay I received all my tickets in. Ridiculous.
So £1,000 they're trying to get out of me for parking in my own bay, which I think is disgusting.
Shortly after Dean bought his flat, a private contractor took over the car park in a bid to stop non-residents parking there. And Dean was sent a permit.
The lease I signed when I purchased the property didn't ask me to display a permit, so I didn't feel as though I needed to.
Clearly, he was wrong.
In total, I received 7 tickets.
Despite the multiple tickets, Dean refused to pay on principle.
The parking company are putting a sticker on my car in my bay that I own, which I feel is a harassment.
Dean's battle with the parking company has taken its toll.
It's the constant onslaught of, you need to pay this, you need to pay this. Debt collectors are going to come around. So for a year, my anxiety has been through the roof. I've even had to have some therapy, hypnotherapy.
Dean has somewhat bizarrely turned to his local fish and chip shop for help. Meet Barry Beavis, parking crusader and owner of the Chippy.
It's £2.90, please.
Barry is infamous in parking circles.
Most people in the parking industry would know my name because I challenged the legitimacy of a parking charge up to a Supreme Court to try and get the industry to change. There are some parking companies that operate professionally and properly, and there are some operators that don't.
He is not a fan of private parking, and the feeling is mutual.
There's lots of dartboards in parking company offices with my photograph on, and people doing that.
That's because Barry, from his back kitchen, has taught himself the law so he can defend the likes of you and I against parking injustice.
There are real people that need real help now, so I'll do what I can to try and help them.
His latest case is Dean.
The parking space allocated to Dean is here. It's number 20 and it's identified on the plan in green. He doesn't need to display a permit because he's been allocated a parking space as part of his lease. And that provides him the rights to park there without the need to display a permit whatsoever.
The big day is here. Today, Barry will accompany Dean to court.
It's almost made me feel as though I'm on trial. When I woke up this morning, I felt as though I could be going to prison. Massively daunting for someone like me. I've never done anything like this before. And then fingers crossed, Barry will be the one to help me win this case today.
The parking company is claiming he's breached the terms and conditions of parking. I say he's got a lease that allows him to park there and he owes them nothing. And we'll present our cases to a judge today and a judge will decide if I'm right or if they're right.
How you doing? Not bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. You ready for this?
Very nervous.
All right.
For those of us that go to court, it's a lottery. Roughly a 50-50 split in terms of results. Fingers crossed for Dean. The verdict is in.
That's hugely disappointing.
Very, very
hugely disappointing. They won and we lost.
I think it's absolutely insane, the decision today. Absolutely mental.
The claimant is allowed to enforce the parking charges because Dean wasn't parked in the actual space conferred to him by his lease. It's an incredibly disappointing decision.
Dean has lost his case and £1,000 in the process.
Lost for words, to be honest. Gobsmacked at the decision today.
He's not alone in his anger. There are thousands of us across the country who've been caught out by private parking. The situation is so bad, one man has decided to reveal the truth about private parking.
What they're doing is bordering on criminal because of the way they go about it.
Tony Taylor used to be a warden for a private parking company.
I'm poacher turned gamekeeper.
He claims he was so disgusted by the dirty dealings, he decided to blow the whistle.
The wage doesn't mean nothing. You've got to have feelings, morals, and I just couldn't take it no longer. When I seen people crying in front of me, I thought, that's it.
So he started gathering evidence to expose their underhand tactics.
Private parking is a racket. It's a money-making racket. All these parking companies want is tickets issued.
Where the council parking enforcers don't work on commission, the private sector is a very different story.
They had a bonus scheme in place where 21 to 30 tickets, they would get £2 per ticket issued. 31 to 40 tickets, £3 per ticket issued.
And this went all the way up to £5 with over 50 tickets.
Their bonuses could be more than their wages.
And if they didn't perform, they could lose their job.
Now, where there's an incentive to a warden, it makes them more likely to issue tickets sneakily.
And they had all sorts of devious tricks up their sleeves.
There's ghost ticketing, where the warden will issue the ticket to the vehicle, he will take all the photographic evidence, and then he will remove the ticket from the windscreen.
Just taking the ticket off.
The only time they become aware of that ticket is when they have a letter through the post.
Which can take weeks and means we miss the 14-day period to pay a lower price.
Private parking companies only care about money. They're not bothered about reasons, and they will do anything they can to get this money off the public. It's all done as a threat in the hope that you pay. If the public get one of these private parking tickets on the windscreen, don't panic, they're not fines. But don't ignore the parking ticket.
When profit isn't the driving force, wardens can take a perhaps less mercenary approach to parking infringement. Back in Weston, as it's run by the council, they're doing just that.
Can't be out of the bay though, mate, all right?
Yeah, no worries.
Perfect. Have a good one.
Yeah, and you, cheers. He gave me a chance, to be fair, yeah, and he gave me the benefit of the doubt, so, you know, they're not all bad.
Oh, yes, sir. Can't have you parked here, unfortunately. I do need you to move it.
Wardens here can show compassion when they want to.
As long as you're loading or unloading, you can use it, but yeah, you're got a pay display ticket. Unfortunately, it's a loading bay, so you have to be in a pay display bay. Yeah, if you move it now, it's no problem.
If you can pop it on there, that's golden.
There was a car there.
All right. Yeah. If you bang over there, mate, we're happy. Cheers.
Parking in Weston is limited, and the hunger for somewhere to park means people nip into any space they can.
Yeah, you can't stop in the taxi rank, all right? Cheers, bud.
Including loading bays. CEO Scott has stumbled across a low loader.
Can't really imagine how much stuff you can carry from a little scooter that needs you to be in a loading bay. This gets given the 5 minutes.
In Weston, you have 5 minutes in a loading bay. And Scott has spotted a motorist who clearly knows that.
All right, so obviously I've just seen the female get out of the vehicle. Are you planning on doing loading at all or not?
Yeah, she's loading.
Yeah? What's she going to be loading?
Pasties.
Not good enough, fortunately. Can't be in there just for loading pasties, that's shopping. You need to park in one of the pay and display bays for that.
So how long have I got?
Well, you need to move it now, really, because you're in a loading bay. All right? Realistically, you've got 10 minutes, but it's whether you think it's right to be blocking a loading bay that somebody who's... Okay? They just don't care, really. I know I'd be pretty annoyed if I was a delivery driver and somebody said I'm just loading up some pasties. They know we can't give them a ticket straight away, so they'll wait like 4.5, see us going back towards their vehicle, and then they'll leave. So, feel like a bit of a cat and mouse game sometimes, really. And there you go, they've been in the loading bay, gone and got their lunch, and now they're going to leave.
Scott's tolerant approach can only be good for the people of Weston. But it's not the case in all our towns and cities. Many councils across the land are seeing the cost benefits of outsourcing civil enforcement to private parking companies. But this isn't necessarily such a good thing for us motorists, with claims that private parking is less out for the community and more out for our money. It can ruffle the feathers of even the most friendliest of towns. Like here, in the picturesque market town of Dursley in Gloucestershire.
Hi, Denver.
Hi there, all right.
Local businesses here have come together to discuss their private parking problems.
Of course, we've had these parking issues yet again. We're still trying to find ways of sorting this out.
We can't afford to see businesses go from the centre of the town, and at the moment this is just killing it.
We're not saying we don't want wardens, we're not saying we don't want health and safety in the street, we're just saying we want clarity as to what we can operate within.
Until a year ago, the parking here was run by the local authority. It was a parking paradise.
When it was run by the council, we used to be a very bustling little town.
We had no parking problems, so we saw no reason for anything to change.
Now it's a parking hell.
The private company has ruined everything.
A private contractor has taken over, and the wardens are quick to ticket anyone for any reason.
They hang around watching people till they park and then whack a ticket on them.
We have challenged the wardens on many times whether they are on a quota system, because to us it seems unfair that they can walk up to a vehicle, put a ticket on it, walk away with no explanation.
No one can figure out what they're doing wrong, and this is only made worse by the confusing signage.
You can't get except for loading any bigger.
Yeah. At any time, it says.
Which means in my book that you can load at any time.
Then you get the traffic wardens that are saying, no.
I know.
You know, the signs aren't very clear on whether you can park here or can't park here. There seems to be rules for one or rules for another.
The problem with the signs is that they can be interpreted incorrectly.
I don't know how long I can park for. I don't even know if I'm allowed to park.
Shopkeepers here are tied in knots as they're forced to use this road to keep their businesses going.
In order to do all access from our shop, this is where we have to park. We have no other entrance. We're a music shop. We have very heavy things for people to collect. Therefore, obviously, they need to park outside our shop to put these heavy things in.
But according to the signs, those heavy things need to be loaded into a moving vehicle. Sharon has recently had a run-in with a warden.
We were just moving into the premises, loading into the shop at the time. Next minute, I come out and he was sticking a ticket on the van. I argued with him about it to the point that people down the street heard me, including Denver from the music shop.
And he's been issued a few tickets too.
Well, I'd walked through to collect some cardboard from the rear of the shop. The warden had just walked round, put the ticket on and was walking away. I did go after him and explain what was happening. Obviously, they sent me this letter back saying, you know, we've carefully considered what you say, but we have decided not to cancel your penalty charge. And then, of course, we sent them this picture, and they basically said, well, we don't take any notice of that sign. It's this sign here saying at any time, saying that overrules everything.
It's pointless trying to argue the case. We wouldn't win.
Unfortunately, the private company has created an ill feeling which we've never had here before.
It's a bit more tense for shoppers and for traders.
We're all too scared to park in Dursley at the moment, hence why the town is so quiet. Look how quiet it is. This should be a busy town, especially this time of night.
With no sign of change, this once bustling town is left in limbo.
It's not going to be fixed in months, is it? It's still going to be several years before they get sorted out.
Yes, no, very much so. Until we can physically get somebody here from County Council, we're going to really struggle to change anything.
It's just waiting. All we can do is keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
Us Brits make around 25 billion trips by car a year, and each journey starts and ends at a parking space. Hopefully. For our rural villages that rely on tourism, getting day trippers parked up and out and about spending money is vital for business. More and more of our coastal communities are suffering due to cheap foreign holidays and their dwindling economy. So parked cars are their lifeblood. No one knows this more than Tulacra, a village in northeast Wales. In 2016, it became one of the worst places to park in the UK. The village lost half its parking spaces to conservation, and the knock-on effect was chaos. Business owner Lyndon witnessed the parking mayhem.
But when it was bad, it was in fact a nightmare. You know, we'd have maybe 200-300 cars in complete gridlock. It's just pandemonium.
It became even more serious when emergency vehicles struggled to get to the beach. And that wasn't all. Desperate motorists parked where they shouldn't when a gate was left open, with disastrous consequences. It made headlines around the UK when up to 40 cars were flooded by the incoming tide. Many written off. It had a massive impact on the village.
It was a disaster. I know for a fact we've lost customers that are just sort of scared to come back. Every day like that was another nail in the coffin for Talacra.
One businessman in Devon was determined not to let this happen to his town. So he took matters into his own hands and bought a car park. But what kind of man would make a car park free?
Somebody who cares for the community, I think, has obviously done this.
Well, this guy.
Hello, all right, how are you? You okay?
Some say I'm sort of eccentric, crazy, but, you know, I'm neither of those, really. I just like a bit of fun and like to make people smile.
Meet Rob Braddock. Rob has a reputation for being a bit mad.
I do some seriously odd things sometimes. I don't mind being a little bit special.
He's a man prepared to do anything to promote his beloved hometown, even dress up as a nun.
What's more crazy, dressing up as a 45-year-old dad in drag or leasing a car park and giving it away for free? That dressing up as Julie Andrews is probably a bit worse than giving away a car park, I'll be honest.
In fact, you could argue the least crazy thing he's done is buy a car park.
Welcome to the most famous car park in England.
This whole crazy story started a few months ago, when Westwood Ho was struggling.
Parking in Westwood Ho is a major issue. You cannot park anywhere here. The roads are totally full, the car parks are full.
People sort of drive around them, see there's no bays, and then just disappear again. Don't bother stopping at all, which is a nightmare, really, for the traders.
Rob signed a 50-year lease on it with the local authority.
For the next 49 years with no hassle. And I have to hand it back when I'm 94. Some people thought, hello, he's up to something, what's he doing? Maybe they thought I was going to drill for oil there the following week, but there's nothing like that. No clever behind-the-scenes scheme I'm thinking of. It was just a nice thing to do.
Rob's act of kindness has made him a local hero.
I love Westwood Ho. I've lived here all my life.
Hiya.
I know quite a lot of people in the village. It's a very community-orientated area. It was quite nice just to give something back to people, really.
As it's only a 5-minute walk to town, it's already helping with congestion.
When it was a pay-and display, there was very, very little traffic in there at all. It just clogged up the roads around it, but as soon as it was free, it was packed.
Come on, boy.
It's not just the traders who are profiting. Westwood Ho's canine community have also benefited from this Good Samaritan.
All he really appreciates is getting a free walk so he can have more walks than what he did before.
I'm not joking, it's like crafts here today, isn't it? There's more dogs than anything. Hi, Pete.
Hey, Mr. Rob.
How are you?
Yeah, very good.
Good, man. Not very good weather. Didn't like the brochure, is it? But a nice bit of surf.
It's
Isn't all bad news, is it, I suppose, for you?
Works for us. How's the car park going, Rob?
Every time I go down there, it's full. They're all parking on the grass, all around it. We have to sort of do something a bit better down there, I think.
It does work.
Hi, Jules.
Not satisfied by his gift, he's got plans to expand.
To extend the car park will be approximately £15,000, and from 20 cars it's going to hold 44, so it's pretty much going to be twice as free.
People are very grateful. Very, very grateful. Asset to Westwood Ho.
You know, well done to you, and yeah.
It's quite amazing that we can come down and use a free car park that somebody's actually given us. I think it's great.
Right, Dave.
Hey, Rob. He's a decent guy, he does a lot for the community, and he makes an excellent lady, I must admit.
I think as long as they come here, they enjoy themselves, they leave happy, and they don't pay for parking, perfect. Oh, I'm going to stay here forever, yes. Yeah. Put my ashes in the car park.
We've met a lot of inspiring heroes like Robert Braddock on this parking odyssey. People prepared to stand up and say, I'm not going to take it anymore. People prepared to fight back. People like Sue Pryor,
I cannot explain how gleeful I feel. I'll just carry on doing what I'm doing and helping as many people who got unfair tickets.
The Talk.
My message to anyone who is looking to start any trouble is basically don't.
Terminator Dan.
Well, I've been called Saint of Weston. Follow the rules yourself and I'm sure, you'll be a saint as well.
People like Lisa Mallion.
Come out of the car and tell us why you're parking here.
And Yannick Reid.
I really believe in direct action, and I thought, right, I can do something about this.
Without people like them, we'd be in parking purgatory. So we salute you.
Yes.
Suck on that, big boys.
Tony Taylor's former employer deny his claims. They claim that they do not instruct their wardens to use any underhand tactics, such as ghost ticketing. They say they provide good facilities for those who park on their clients' land, and that they operate within the spirit and the letter of the law.